and welcome. You're watching Good News Today. I'm Rishika Barua. For all those people who believe that the good news never really makes it to the news, well, you've tuned into the right show. Because over the next half an hour, my team and I have put together a set of stories that are different. These are stories that will make you think, they'll make you feel, they may even put a smile on your face, they may even restore your faith in humanity and make you toast to human brilliance. These are stories that don't necessarily make it to the headlines, but definitely will make a way into your heart. We begin today's episode of Good News Today with a story that proves that where there is a will, there is a way. The 17-year-old daughter of a food vendor in Chennai has managed to crack the joint entrance exam of the Indian Institute of Technology, one of the toughest exams possible for one of the most prestigious institutes of the country. And what a moment it's been for her family. Shrisha Reddy files this story.
Hers is a story that would make you sit up and take note. Fatima Shadana is an ordinary girl with some extraordinary accomplishments to her credit. Daughter of a daily wager, Fatima is a topper in her school. But that's not all. She has also cleared IIT JEE Main, an exam for which many students burn midnight oil, but only the best get selected.
IIT means I know Indian Institute of Technology, that's all. In my 9th standard, my government has conducted a screening test and selected some students to coaching for 4-year classroom program. I go for that and they will teach and give training for that in the examination, and I have cleared.
The Chennai Corporation has been providing free training for its children in a tie-up with IIT JEE since the past 4 years. Fatima was one among the 8 students who were coached for the IIT exams, and she is grateful to the training center that offered to take under its wings some bright students of the corporation schools.
I'm so happy. I cannot tell in words. Come from PG class till night, 9 o'clock. Somebody tell why you are going, but my mother didn't hear that. She allowed me to go. It makes me very proud that my family members are very happy, and I am the first graduate in my family.
Meanwhile, her proud parents can barely control their happiness.
இப்படி போயிட்டு வருது அந்த பிள்ளைய அப்படி நீங்கள் அனுப்பாதீங்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க. நாங்கள் தான் சரி நம்ம தான் படிக்கலை, நம்ம பிள்ளையாவது படிக்கட்டும்னு சொல்லி தான் நாங்கள் அனுப்பி வச்சது.
இப்போ மேலும் படிக்க வைக்கணும்னு ஆசையாக தான் இருக்குது. நாங்கள் சம்பளத்துக்கு இருந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஒரு நாளைக்கு 300 வருமானம், வாடகை பாக்கி, வாடகை சாப்பிட்றது சரியாக போயிடுது. எப்படி படிக்க வைக்கணும் எங்களால் முடியலை. அதனால் யாரும் உதவி பண்ணாங்கன்னா இன்னும் மேலும் படிக்க வைக்க எங்களுக்கு ஆசையாக இருக்குது.
A dream that eventually turned into a reality. Fatima's family background could not deter her from dreaming big. Through her success, she has become not just the pride of her family, but an inspiration for others. In Chennai, Shrisha Reddy for Headlines Today.
There are very glamorous and at times very misleading notions about prostitution depicted on the silver screen. In reality, there are very few women who manage to break away from the clutches of prostitution and rebuild their lives. Lata Mane is one such story where grit triumphs over destiny.
With a 6-month-old child, she was sold into flesh trade by her husband. For 15 long years, the red light area was her home and a prostitute her identity. Lata Mane witnessed the worst and suffered inhuman torture to survive.
जब घाटकोपर में इस एरिया में मैं रहती थी, 6 वर्कर करने के टाइम पे मेरी बड़ी लड़की 11 महीने की थी. सुबह में गुरुवार का दिन 5 तारीख था 1988 में 1988 में एक कस्टमर आया. अच्छा लड़का जवान था. 10 रुपये उसने दिया. एक औरत की कीमत उन्हें 10 रुपये लगाई. मैंने उससे 10 रुपये मैंने मांगा था कि और 10 रुपये दो, सुबह सुबह होने का टाइम है. उन्हें 10 रुपये के बजाय मुझे 3.5 लाख का खर्चा बढ़ा के गया कि वार करके चला गया.
But not once did she give up hope. When opportunity came to join an NGO to raise awareness for HIV, Lata was the first to enroll. First as a health worker and then as a craftsperson. Brick by brick, she started to rebuild her life and her identity, that of a self-made woman. Away from the ignominy of the brothel, she built up a team of 10 workers. All these women, who had been victims of flesh trade for years, were determined to chart a new path for a better future. Today, together, they bagged the BMC contract to clean Ghatkopar slum area.
घाटकोपर में यनवाड़ है, वहाँ से हमको एक बृहन मुंबई महानगर पालिका स्वच्छ प्रबोधन अभियान का जो काम मिला है अप्रैल 2013 में। वो अभी ये महीने के 2013 को 1 साल होता है। जो घाटकोपर का जो एरिया है, नित्यानंद नगर, मच्छी मार्केट, शिव सम्राट, राजकमल, बुद्ध विहार और रंगवाला मैदान, ऐसे 4,500 से घर है जो एरिया हमको दिया साफ़ सफाई का। तो उसमें हम साफ़ सफाई करते हैं। सुबह 7:30 बजे से 10 बजे तक कचरा उठाते हैं, हर घर घर जाके कचरा मांग के, और उसके बाद में झाड़ू मारते हैं पूरा एरिया का। जैसा सर्विस रोड है, बुद्ध मैदान है, और राजकमल है, शिव सम्राट है, रंगवाला मैदान है उधर, और गटर जो गटर भरा रहता है, चौकअप हुआ रहता है, वो गटर का कचरा निकाल के हम पेटी पे ला के डालते हैं, और पेटी का कचरा पूरा साफ़ करके वहाँ पे लाल पाउडर मारते हैं। और टॉयलेट है, सार्वजनिक बाथरूम है, वो बाथरूम साफ़ करने के लिए एक लेडीज़ अलग से है, वो हर दिन बाथरूम साफ़ करके ब्लीचिंग और फिनाइल डाल के साफ़ करते हैं।
And the good news is, efforts of Lata Mane and her team have been recognized by the biggest association of Indian business world, CII, with Woman Exemplar Award for 2014. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
What does it feel like to be right on top of the world looking down on creation? Well, I unfortunately don't have the answer, but this 13-year-old tribal girl from Andhra Pradesh has managed to scale the highest peak in the world. And while she and her team are yet to return back home, Purna files this story to tell us how she got to the very top.
A young tribal girl from Andhra Pradesh has become the youngest female to conquer Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world. At 13 years, 11 months, Purna, daughter of farm labourer from Nizamabad district, is a class 9 student studying in a government-run social welfare hostel. Coming from a family that struggles to survive to the top of the world. This is the story of a long journey. That is the stuff dreams are made of and could inspire millions across the country. Along with Purna, there is Anand, a class 11 student, son of a cycle mechanic from the Khammam district.
It has been one of the most arduous and hazardous journeys mountaineers have ever undertaken. And then Purna and Anand happen to be the youngest mountaineers in the entire northern expedition, because on the southern side all expeditions are closed because of the avalanche that killed almost 16 Sherpas. So this time, from northern side, our people today morning, they are the first ones to reach Mount Everest, and then they are all happy now. And I spoke to Purna over satellite phone, and then she's really excited.
According to messages received back here in Hyderabad, Purna virtually ran the last leg to the top. And the radio message that went out from there was, she has shown the power of Indian women to the world.
It is 43 degrees outside today, and this bottle of water has pretty much saved my life. But once this little bit of water is over, I'm just going to junk this bottle, bin it, and never think about it again. But what if from this very plastic bottle a lamp could be made? Well, that's my next good news story for you, as a school next to Lonavala is teaching its children how to make lamps out of plastic bottles.
A school that teaches to recycle garbage in a meaningful way and generate electricity from non-conventional sources.
3
3 years ago, herpetologist Nilim Kumar Khare started this initiative at Uttara School of Environment in Vaksai village of Maharashtra's Lonavala region.
This school something very closely touched to the nature, and it recycles. It has recycled many things like some plastic bottles and many things. So which is very useful for the nature.
And when I started, coming here, renovating the old house, then slowly I visited, different places like Ekvira Devi temple and other thing. When I saw the Ekvira Devi temple, and it was in a very pathetic condition. So with that energy of student, we cleaned that entire hillock of that goddess, and slowly I, because of the blessing of the goddess, I started working here, and people started liking me. So they started coming here, and they used to come with the problem, with say like plastic bottle. Then I used to think, and I used to give them options.
Plastic, iron, rubber, all that we throw away after use take shape of toys or useful craft. Even machines are made that run on alternative energy like this washing machine. Doesn't require electricity. One has to carry it while walking and clothes will be washed. In here, pure drinking water comes out when this cycle is pedaled.
Mobile filter, it doesn't require electricity. It doesn't require this. That is not a rocket science. We made everything from scrap material. You must have seen it. We have not spent much money on that thing.
Students from nearby areas come here for a 2-day workshop designed to train them in garbage recycling in effective manner and make them environment conscious. Because being green is in. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Welcome back. You're watching Good News Today. I'm Siddharth Sharma. Now, an American man who was suffering from diabetes is celebrating his 10th year of being diabetes-free, thanks to an experimental procedure undertaken in 2004. Rob Allen, who was suffering from type 1 diabetes, underwent a transplant to help him cure this deadly disease. He hopes that once this procedure gets approved, it will help millions of diabetes patients to recover out of this disease.
My wife and I say a prayer before our meal every morning, and I thank God for the islet cell transplant. Every meal I thank God for the islet cell transplant. I mean, it's every day, and there's not a day that goes by I ever take that for granted.
Robert Allen is a pioneer. He's part of a 10-year experiment to see if diabetes could be cured surgically, and in 2004 he underwent surgery as part of a clinical trial at Emory University to cure his type 1 diabetes with a transplant using donor islet cells. Well, the experiment worked. After 2 transplants, the donor cells began producing insulin and he was effectively cured of diabetes.
There's not a day that goes by I take that for granted. I don't. Man, I am thankful that I have those islet cells.
For Allen and his surgeon Dr. Christian Larson, this year, the 10th anniversary of the procedures is a landmark year.
It's incredibly exciting, and it shows the potential, the promise of what islet transplantation could do for patients with type 1 diabetes.
But islet transplantation is not available to everyone who might benefit.
2 areas that we really need to have breakthroughs in the area of islet transplantation. One is just improving the technology of getting enough islets to treat all the patients or patients that could potentially benefit. And that's a technological hurdle. The other is that because the islets come from another individual, an organ donor, they would be recognized as foreign and rejected.
And that means patients receiving a transplant need to spend the rest of their lives taking anti-immunity drugs, which can lead to side effects like high blood pressure and a weaker immune system. But Rob Allen says he doesn't mind the drugs. He says anything is better than the constant insulin reactions he endured before the transplant.
Insulin reactions were my quote-unquote downfall, and it remained that way. I mean, I had about 3 car crashes as a result of it. I was, had to take days off from work. There were even days that I didn't even realize I didn't even realize what day it was. I would wake up and I was wondering, what day is this?
Researchers are now looking at developing a new class of drugs designed to shorten or eliminate the need for anti-rejection drugs. As for Robert Allen, he feels that 10 years ago he was given a new lease of life, which he'll cherish forever. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Now here's another piece of good news from the world of technology. Engineers in Israel are trying to develop a contact lens that will help blind recognize objects through reading sensations in their eyes. Let's take a look at this groundbreaking technology on how it can shine light on blindness.
It's a contact lens that could one day help the blind to see. The lens is implanted with a range of sensors designed to lie against the cornea. And according to Israeli developer Ziva Zalewski, those sensors will convert images sent by a tiny camera into electrical signals that stimulate nerves on the eye.
This spatial tactile sensation, after proper training, can be recognized as the spatial shape that was imaged by the camera.
Zalewski believes that the technology will help the blind to perceive objects around them. However, the system is still being developed, but a prototype device using tiny pipes to deliver air pressure instead of electrical signals demonstrates how the system will work.
We want to prove the concept of our device. Later we will replace these pipes with a contact lens and electric circuits, which will stimulate our eye instead of these pipes.
In a sense, what we are doing is similar to how they read Braille writings with the tips of their fingers, but in our case it is like they take out their eyeball and reach it towards the object that is facing in front of the camera and filling it with the surface of the cornea, with the surface of the eye.
A full working system is at least 3 years away, but Zalewski feels that the technology could be revolutionary and will potentially help the blind in seeing the light where there was none before.
Have you ever wanted to own a drone for practically nothing? Well, a Bolivian inventor is proving that making drones is not only cheap, but eco-friendly as well. Let's take a look at this good news technology story from the heart of Latin America.
Bolivian inventor Alex Chipana is proving that one person's trash is another person's treasure by literally taking junk, mostly recycled, and converting it into a high-tech drone. And guess what? It works very well. This small drone with 4 propellers can fly as long as 20 minutes, as high as 1.9 kilometers and as fast as 69 kilometers per hour. Chipana bought his own motor, camera and GPS, but found the rest of the parts at flea market and fit the pieces into his own design.
Todo eso es una estructura de diseño mío, ¿no?
The structure of all this is my own design. The parts that I find in markets in El Alto are the wood and parts of a pen, a cap from a deodorant or perfume bottle.
La tapa de un desodorante, de un perfume, ¿no?
Conventional drone technology is expensive and unavailable to most people in the low-income countries like Bolivia. But Chipana thinks drones could help Bolivia develop through aerial crop management for connecting isolated communities to the internet. And he says cheap, recyclable materials are easy to find.
Puedes encontrar desde impresoras desarmadas.
You can find printers, refrigerators, photocopiers, motors, and controllers, and they're all broken down into different parts. Loads of things you can use for a robot. With all of these available items, the market is considered a paradise for roboticists, and all these things are very cheap.
Las cosas son baratas, ¿no?
Chipana's drone is attracting a lot of attention. He hopes his recycling, repurposing ideas will take off to help break down the digital divide in one of Latin America's poorer countries.